Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and this is all about my life after gastric bypass surgery, and today is my 21-month post-op update. I'm going to become one of those weird people that refers to my surgery in the same way that people refer to their babies. Oh, my surgery is 27 months old. My surgery is 34 months old. Eventually it's going to get kind of boring or hard to follow, right? So maybe I'll switch that up. Maybe after I hit 2 years, I'll just start doing like monthly update, 2 years after surgery, monthly update, 3 years after surgery. Let me know if it would be helpful for you or not. Maybe saying 26 months, 27 months after surgery is helpful, in which case I'll make sure to keep that number going as high as I possibly can just for your benefit. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. So we're at the 21-month update, if you can believe it or not. I certainly can't believe that it's September and that another month has gone by and that so much has happened in the last month that I literally cannot keep things straight right now. Before I get into any of the updates or what's going on in life right now, I just want to say a quick thank you. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting my channel and continuing to come back to my videos and watching and engaging. It means so much to me. If you're not yet a subscriber, I just ask that if you like these updates, if you like the kinds of videos that I'm trying to put out about my experience after gastric bypass, specifically also gastric bypass in Mexico, go ahead and show your support by hitting the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell so you get notified whenever one of my videos goes live. Also, I just want to mention that I did go ahead and put memberships on the channel. If you want to become a member, there are a couple extra perks. If you hit the join button underneath this video or click on the link in my description, it'll give you a little breakdown on some of the things, including special badges and emojis, but more importantly, just kind of more one-on-one engagement with me and updates from me more regularly. So if that's the kind of thing that you want to get and want to support the channel in a more tangible way, I have those offered for you in case that's interesting. For example, I think I'm going to start doing an outfit of the day just because I have so many different things that I'm trying out now, and I've had a couple of videos about trying to dress myself and trying to figure out what my style is after surgery. So for those of you who want to kind of keep up with that kind of thing, I think that's less interesting for a good chunk of my viewers who are coming here researching surgery, but for people who might want to be members and kind of check in with me personally on how that journey is going, that's going to be something that I will probably regularly update on the membership side. Okay, so let's get into some of the data, because you know me, I'm a data person. I want to give out all the information that I can, not just so that you know data-wise what's going on with my progress and the whole thing after surgery, but it helps me. The more data I get, the more I can kind of feel good about the process and see things in a big picture, because I'm all about the big picture. So if we're talking about weight, I did weigh in on August 2nd at 203 pounds, and I weighed in on September 1st at 197.6. I fluctuate a few pounds. That's pretty common for me to kind of go up above 200 and then dip below 200 again. And I've been hovering at that for months, but this was the first time that I dipped to 197. So 197.6 is the lowest point that I've hit so far. So that was really cool to see. It is encouraging when I start to see that although I go like this a lot, I do occasionally dip down and go like this, and then I'll dip down again and I'll go like this. So there is still weight loss progress going on. I've kind of said before, I want to de-emphasize the weight at this point, this far away from surgery, focus on the abilities that I'm getting, focus on my measurements, focus on other things, because that weight is so unpredictable at this point. But that being said, I had a 5.4 pound loss for the month of August. So that's the most weight that I've lost in a month in a really long time. Now, spoiler alert, I'm back up to 199.8 today. So, I mean, again, those things fluctuate. However, I'm staying below 200 at this point. So I'll take that as a win. The longer I can consistently stay at, below 200 in the 100s in Wonderland, if you will, the happier I am with that. That shows progress, that although I'm not losing massive amounts of weight anymore, I am losing a little bit, and then I'm staying and I'm maintaining, and then I'll lose a little bit more and I'm maintaining. That is way more important to me than the weight loss itself at this point. Maintenance is a whole other beast, and it's something I've never tackled before. And although, yes, I would like eventually some more progress, I am perfectly happy at losing a little bit and maintaining, because that still shows huge success this far after surgery. I've had no issues with regain. I've had no issues with, kind of worrying about whether or not I'm doing something right, just because I feel that even if I'm not losing weight, if I'm maintaining, I am way more successful than I've ever been this long after trying to get control over my food and trying to get control over my life. So I'll take it. I will take it. But I do want to focus more on things that aren't weight, like I said. So I did take measurements. This was the second time that I've taken measurements in my much more detailed measurement spreadsheet that I started. So I will show you a screenshot from that. This was the first time I got results, because it's the second time that I've measured way more carefully, way more detailed different parts of my body. So I was able to get a lot more information than the crappy stuff I was doing before, and I wasn't being super careful or accurate. What was super exciting about that is that I saw loss almost everywhere, especially the fact that I lost 2 inches around my waist. So although I'm not seeing a lot of change when it comes to my weight, 2 inches is a lot to lose around my waist. I mean, that's a huge difference, and that explains why I am noticing that, my clothes are fitting different and things are different despite the scale not really participating in this situation. I was also super pleased to see that I lost an inch around both of my calves, which have been huge and are always a problem. I keep thinking, I've lost so much weight, I'm gonna be able to wear like regular rain boots, and I still can't do that. I recently had to purchase rain boots, and I had to get really short ones that only came up to my ankle because my calves are still so fat. But I did lose an inch around them, so there's progress being made. This is one reason why I wanted to make sure that I was taking these measurements in all of these areas, so that I can see, yes, Stephanie, you are making progress there. Although my calves still don't fit in a lot of boots, I am seeing progress, and maybe eventually they will. I also continue to lose inches around my bust, which is a huge bust, but what are you gonna do about it? In addition to that, I also lost a little bit around my neck, which I didn't think was gonna keep happening, but there you go. So this was very promising. I am very excited to continue more detailed measurements in this way, because it really gives me a much better picture of what's going on with my body than just looking at the scale. We put so much emphasis on that scale, and it is one data point that can be influenced by a lot of different things. And so having multiple data points and multiple things that I'm looking at really makes a difference. What I normally would have done is also pictures as well, to have a visual representation of my change over the last month, but I did not get around to taking pictures this month because things have been crazy and I didn't have time, and I had to go to the airport that day instead. I'll update you guys on that trip and everything that was going on in my next video, because technically that was September and I don't want to get ahead of myself. Hi, Kitty Beans. Look at those kitty beans. With all of the data out there and done, I just want to give a general update on how things are going. So there's probably an explanation as to why I hit 197.6 and then bump back up to 199, and that's probably because I'm kind of not doing super well with my eating. That being said, I do want to reference and point out that I'm doing way better with my eating than other times in my life. So, in a grand scale, when we're talking about context, I'm doing fine. But when we're talking about whether or not I'm really paying attention to what I'm doing and like not stress eating, for example. I'm not doing so great at that. I'm super stressed out right now. I'm super busy. Part of that is work. It just seems to ebb and flow. And right now I'm in one of those, you know, high stress waves where I just have way too much to do and not enough time. Another is that we've started thinking about the wedding a little bit more. And although I have quite a while, because we're not getting married until the spring of 2024, it's starting to creep into my thoughts as, you know, a thing that needs to be planned and saved for and start to put together. In addition, I'm also planning the honeymoon because they're both kind of one and the same. I don't think I've talked about it on the channel, but it sounds like we might be doing a Disney World wedding, which means that we will be traveling to Disney World to get married and then having our honeymoon at the same time. So I'm planning both at the same time. I am sure there are going to be tons more updates on that as I get closer, but it just became a thing that I started putting on my radar. So now it's kind of adding to the stress of everything that's already going on. And my first instinct is always going to be turning to food when I'm stressed. It's something that I'm going to have to work on actively for the rest of my life because that's my default. That's what I turn to. And I'm starting to think that maybe that is the biggest reason as to why I got so heavy in the past, is just that I kind of get to these stress levels where I don't manage it well and I overeat. Thankfully, I don't binge anymore because of surgery. There are things that the surgery has immensely helped with, and I think my next video is really going to delve into that a little bit more. So the way that I stress eat is so different than it used to be, strictly because of the way that the surgery has allowed me to handle that. But that instinct and that, you know, first coping mechanism, that first response has not gone away with surgery, because that's a brain thing, and that's something that I need to continue working on. So of course, with all this stress, you know, whether or not I'm cooking food, whether or not I'm balancing my meals right, whether or not I'm eating way too many sweets throughout the day, those are factors that get bumped up a lot when I'm stressed. So that's what I'm experiencing. But overall, I'm still maintaining my weight. I am bumping up a little, bumping down a little, still maintaining. So I'm not really worried about it. Again, my next video is going to go into a lot more depth as to why I'm not worried about how much I'm eating and what my eating habits are right now at this point after surgery. So stay tuned for that if you are interested in that kind of aspect, because I know so many people are worried about how much they eat and kind of getting back those bad eating habits the further away you get from surgery. So I really want to delve into why I'm not worried about that at this particular time in my journey. But that's beside the point. I'm getting ahead of myself, you guys. At this point, aside from the fact that I'm just kind of letting my stress take over in those respects, I did a lot last month, and I feel really, really good about my energy level. I feel really, really good about the hikes that I finished. I did the hikes all summer long that my county puts out, where you kind of do almost like a treasure hunt as you are hiking all summer long until the very end finale, where they have this really big hike where you are competing with everybody. There were over 100 teams that were competing this year, and we got 51st place in terms of finishing the finale hike. And a lot of that was because we got stuck on puzzles and not because of hiking ability or how fast we were. I was actually very impressed with myself, because after we struggled with figuring out the riddle in order to go to the next location for the hike, we actually hauled butt. And I was really proud of myself for how fast I was able to move along to the next points and hike through the woods and not be winded and not be tired and not be too grumpy. Although at one point I almost bit my fiance's head off because we started going like straight up a hill, and I found out that we didn't necessarily need to do that, and I was super like exhausted from that. But that was the only point that happened. For the most part, I was really, really happy with my ability to get things done. And I had a really good time hiking all summer long. I'm really pleased with that. That's a new thing in my life that over the last couple of years, I've found that I very much enjoy hiking, and especially because my dog is so good at hiking and running around and mountain climbing. I have really enjoyed that new part of my life, and I'm really, really glad that that's something that I'm able to do now. I didn't even know I liked to do that. I mean, I didn't like to do it before because my feet would hurt and I would be exhausted, and it would be hard to breathe while I was getting those things done. And that was just something that was too difficult for me to thoroughly enjoy. So that's probably the biggest thing that happened this last month, is just realizing that I have more abilities than I really thought that I did. I didn't do an amazing job this time at taking notes in terms of what I experienced this month to make sure that I could give you updates, especially on non-scale victories. So I'm going to have to save that for next month. And because I have so much going on and I am so busy, I'm going to have to end my video here. Although it is not much shorter than my other videos because I sure as heck don't have a problem talking. But I will have more updates next month in terms of what changes I'm experiencing after surgery. I'll do my best to keep you guys updated and plugging along with the stress right along with me, so you know what's going on in my life and how it's affecting my journey as a whole. But more than anything, make sure you stay happy, healthy, and always look at the big picture, and I will see you guys in the next one.